everyone. Thank you so much for coming back to Beyond the Trailhead. Today we have someone on here super special. We actually met. I gave him a call or an email, I think, right, Scott? And
yeah,
and so we ended up doing some product shoots for you out in the Grand Canyon, and loved your product, loved the idea behind everything. So this right here is Scott. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. We've hung out a little bit before, and at a trade show too, and got to meet your daughter and stuff like that. So you have a great family and an awesome story, actually. And that's kind of why I wanted to have you on, is every business's story is really, really unique. And so that's why we want to kind of go beyond the trailhead, so to speak, and learn a little bit about the companies that we see on the trail. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Scott, and kind of just give a quick little rundown of, what your company does, what your business does, and what is unique about you.
sure. Yeah, so my name is Scott Jensen, founder of Near Zero. I am based in Mesa, Arizona, born and raised in Arizona, and then lived in Oregon, out of Portland, Oregon for several years. And that's really where I came in love with backpacking. So as a kid, I grew up in the outdoors. I've got 5 brothers, and my dad's an avid outdoorsman. Me and my 5 brothers are all Eagle Scouts. My dad has mentored thousands of youth, including us 6 boys in the outdoors, and really was very strong in the Scouting of America program. But then when I moved up to Portland, Oregon, my oldest child was 6 years old when we moved there. And we were just amazed with the amount of options of camping, whether it's at Mount Jefferson, Mount St. Helens, or my favorite was up in Mount Hood.
Yeah.
So up through the Columbia Gorge. And at least once a month, him and I would go on a backpacking trip, rain or shine. And so that's what inspired me that's where I came with that passion for backpacking.
Yeah.
And then my history is in supply chain. I spent 15 years in corporate supply chain working for Fortune 100 companies with sourcing overseas. I managed a team in Mexico and in China. And then I was living in China when prior to COVID hitting. And when COVID hit, I had to come home early. But it's a side hustle. I sourced some of my favorite camping products and started the brand Near Zero in 2019. And so now, fast forward 6 years later, I'm doing it full time for over 4 years now.
I did not know that you had 5 brothers.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I had one sister, and I can't imagine having 5 brothers. So are you the middle? Where are you?
Yeah, so I have one sister, but she's the oldest. And then there's 6 boys under her, and I'm number 6 of 7 kids.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I'm almost a baby. There's just one younger than me.
That's cool. And I didn't know that you moved up to Oregon and did that. So, because I know you living down south, so I didn't know that you lived there before. And I was really jealous. I try to get my son out, but we live in Georgia, and it's just a hot, steamy pile of mess here all the time. So we can only go out once it hits about October or November is when we'll start camping here. So
Gotcha.
So that's cool.
Yeah, in Portland, you can camp all year round.
Yeah.
So in Portland, it's incredible because we would do it every month of the year, and rain or shine. Many times we would go camping from the minute we left our house to the minute we got home, it was raining constantly. But it's that drizzle rain, right?
Yeah.
It's enough to make it feel wet, but not enough to not make you go out.
Yeah.
And so we just learned to start fires in the rain and figured out how to, get wood underneath moss and how to put tarps over, our fire area halfway and learn how to set up a tent in the rain. So all that we had to learn how to do.
That's super cool. And tell me what's unique about you. I know what's unique about you, but tell everybody else kind of what's unique about what you Near Zero specifically does.
Sure. Yeah. So Near Zero we are that sweet spot between lightweight and affordability. and we focus on 3 pillars. So amazing gear that, like I said, is lightweight but affordable, and then bundles. So the bundles is very, very unique because we own our own patent. It's a patent designed backpack. It's labeled, it's organized, and it takes all the guesswork out of backpacking. And then the third pillar is rentals. So we have a rental program where one brand, all one kit, and you can rent it at a very affordable price, shipped straight to your door, and then provided with a return shipping label. There's no one in the world doing such a thing. So it's the gear that enables us to put it in a bundle. The bundle is what enables the rentals,
Yeah.
but all one brand that puts those 3 pillars together to make it affordable and lightweight.
Yeah.
So that's near zero weight, near zero effort, making it easy for people to get out in the outdoors with lightweight, affordable gear.
Yeah. I mean, when we went and did product pictures for you in the Grand Canyon, my wife loved it. The bag was super comfortable, and then it's very similar stuff that I think everybody knows about, but you have to piece it everywhere. You know, like I've pieced my gear together. You can see everything on the wall behind me. But I know for a lot of my friends, when I take them out camping and stuff, it's always me having to try to help tell them 20 different places to go get everything. And now I can tell, and we had talked about, now that you have the rental program, that I want to take out a group of 6 dads with their boys, on a camping trip. And now being able to rent that from you instead of, hey, okay, now I've got to find 20 different places to get everything. And these guys have to go and buy all this random stuff when they don't even know if they're going to like it. And then most of those people will maybe take advantage of REI's crazy return program after the trip, and which they shouldn't, but is really, really good. And I know when we slept in the sleeping bags that we were warm. The sleeping pads were great. I think I just grabbed one thing off because I have so many things, but I just grabbed the water bottle because it was sitting on the wall back there. But there's so much stuff, and it makes it super, super easy for people to get outdoors. So I guess my question is, like, were you originally trying to do everything in a bundle, or were you just trying to, at the starting point, just trying to do just maybe a bag or just some camping gear? How did you say, hey, I want to do the entire kit versus just doing a couple of items?
Yeah, so it all first started with just trying to produce and manufacture some of my favorite gear. Actually, my dad's favorite gear items.
Yeah.
So my dad and I were going to start this company together before I moved to China. And I moved to China in 2018. I moved to China the year my dad passed away. He died from an unexpected heart attack. And in 2017, 2016 to 2017, we were talking of starting our own business company. And my dad's that ultra lighter. Like,
Yeah.
he is, 10 pounds max, a go light bag, gossamer type of bag, just total minimalist kind of a guy. And even up to 70 years old, I think I told you, Craig, that he hiked the Grand Canyon 13 times in 1 year, every month of the year and 1 month twice.
Wow.
And that was when he was 69 to 70 years old. And so the plan was, Dad, you show me your favorite gear, and I'll get it made cheaper.
Yeah.
And so he showed me he gave me his titanium shovel that he pays like $150 for. And I said, okay, I can source that. I can get that made. And so we were going to do that, but I never did. He talked about different tent styles and different gadgets. And so he gave me some of his favorite products, and then he died. He passed away. Fast forward, I then moved to China. And as I moved to China, I'm at my desk still looking at my dad's, these memories of him. And so the first product I started doing was the titanium shovel.
Okay.
I went to a trade show in China and took this shovel around to all these different booths and said, can you make this? Can you make this? And then at that trade show, I saw a tent And I was like, wow, that tent is unique enough. It's not a Big Agnes. It's not a MSR. It's
Yeah.
not a Nemo. It's not a Nemo. Wow, that manufacturer could probably make my dad's, putting some of these favorite parts together
Yeah.
that my dad had. And so I then started working with that factory to make our own tent. And then I made our own sleeping bag. And this was just kind of all as a side hustle, just as a hobby. And then my wife and I were on a hike in China, and we thought, you know what? There's something about backpacks that we just hate. We
Yeah.
hate the top stuff type thing. We were brainstorming, and she's like, my wife's a very compartmentalized person. She loves structure.
Yeah.
She loves everything in its place. And so that's the beginning of then the Dean backpack, and how to open it up differently. And
Yeah.
so that was in 2019 when we had brainstormed the backpack, and that's the birth of then Near Zero.
Yeah.
It then started coming together. Oh, wait a minute. If we can design the perfect optimal backpack, put all of these individual items in it, then that's when it created Near Zero weight, Near Zero effort, Near Zero all this stuff with this feather balancing, this basically a zero with the feather in the middle, and that was the birth of it. So yeah, then it evolved further, and then we started realizing we have to come out with more and more products. If we want to make this simple,
Yeah.
we have to source everything, and not every item have we custom designed it. About 50 to 75% of them, are our own design. Other things, we have just found a really good product out there that makes it easy to package it all in one brand. So that's how it all came about.
That's super cool. That's awesome. I've always wanted, I was like, I never asked you that question. I was like, how did he just, because you don't just, because from talking to some people now that I've been, in the industry for a few years and stuff like that, it's not easy just to get one product done, let alone, 20 products to put into your kit and stuff like that. And my wife found the bag super comfortable too, because I think, like you said, it's like a good balance of exactly what you need, but it's not crazy. Because I've worn and I've used so many different pieces of gear since I take pictures of all these different companies, and there's a handful of companies that I've shot for before that it's so uncomfortable, and I'm doing so many miles on a trail so I can go and take pictures of their product, and I can't wait for the trip to be over because it's not comfortable, or what I'm sleeping on is not comfortable. And when we did everything that we used from yours, it was all very naturally like, hey, it's very similar, it's very familiar. So it's easy to use because it's not like some crazy new out of this world invention that I just don't know what's going on. And then, you have a hard time on trail. Like your bag, I always point to the bag just because the bag is one of those things that if you don't get a good bag, you have a miserable trip because you have to hike so much. It's a physical thing that you're always laboring over. And even the adjustability of everything, that you can adjust it from the teeniest, tiniest of person to the biggest of people, is something that's such a unique feat. I don't know how you figured it out, but you did. Instead of having to sell 5 different sizes of bag, you have just, one bag that fits all. And the compartmentalizing portion of it, I wish I was more organized like that, because it makes it so much easier to just open it up and go, hey, here it all is, as opposed to the stuff sack version where you have to reach down in and have to remember the order that you slammed everything in so you can pull it all out. And for the beginner, it makes it, like I've told so many of my friends who are trying to get into hiking, I used to just tell them, hey, get this or this. And now I'm like, hey, just go check this out. It's gonna fit you. It's gonna work. You're gonna know what's going on. It's got everything you need. So, I mean, you're doing great on what you created. So I appreciate it. I'm sure other people appreciate it too when they're searching for stuff. I think one of the questions I wanted to ask you was maybe, what are some, and when we talk, we like to talk about kind of some big wins and some crazy losses, So maybe if you want to start with a loss, but then you can follow it up with a really good win. If you have a story about something, maybe when you were creating the product over in China, or when you were testing stuff what is something that was an interesting moment for you kind of creating the company, or as you have the company now, something that's hard to do right now?
Sure. Yeah, probably go back to the backpack. But that backpack was, oh my goodness, it was a nightmare. Um, we went through 10 different iterations. I have a tech pack that's 78 pages long. Um, and this tech pack is, I hired a design engineer while I was living in China. She was from the US, a college student. She did a fabulous job, but she didn't know backpacking. She
Yeah.
knew design, she knew textiles, but she didn't know backpacking. And so trying to iterate back and forth, and then working with factories, it took us about 2 years, and just getting sample after sample and testing and testing. And then I
Wow.
would be given it. It was so hard to come out with this brand new custom backpack that has so many integrated pockets and structure, and it's so unique
Yeah.
that the factories didn't know how to do it. The backbone of it, how to bend it perfectly so
Yeah.
that you have this system in the back, similar to like an Osprey Exos. We looked at well over a dozen different brands. We put this storyboard together and looking at how does Gregory do it? How does Osprey do it versus REI's packs? And I had I've had so many different backpacks over the years with my dad's that we just started looking at everything. And to come out with our first release was huge.
Yeah.
And we wanted it lightweight. The first generation Dean backpack was 50 liters, and we wanted to go ultra, very, very as light as we could. So it
Yeah.
weighed 3 pounds, 3 pounds.
Wow.
But we skipped out on a lot of these things. We went too thin on the shoulder straps. You went too thin on the padding. We didn't give enough space inside the backpack to add additional things. The add-on straps weren't beefy enough,
Yeah.
right? They needed stronger and longer straps in order to account for a air canister and these types of things. And so, but just to get to that first generation production release was really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
We're now releasing our 4th generation this fall. It will be announced. The 3rd generation is what you used.
Okay.
The 4th generation will be released this fall. And it's turned out to be an amazing success story. But man, it's just hearing customer feedback after customer feedback. And I'm like, well, I tested it. I hiked the Grand Canyon 24 miles rim to rim in that backpack
Yeah.
with it weighed down pounds just to test it out. And sure, it may work fine for my body style,
Yeah.
but it may not work for someone else's body style, a different height and different shoulders and different, women versus men. And, all of these factors have to be put into play into having a backpack that can be universal enough
Yeah.
for different body styles, waist sizes, ages. And so we're getting there, but we're not 100% there yet. But this 4th revision, I feel, is about as perfect as you can get to incorporate as much as you can to still allow traveling with it, still allow someone with a 24-inch size waist that's a youth that's going to scout camp, but also still allow someone that's 6'4"
Yeah.
to use it comfortably.
Yeah. That's cool that you're
That's
innovating
by
it.
far.
That's neat that you're innovating it, because some companies, they come out with a bag and then it's the same bag for forever. And they're like, this is the bag. And hearing the customer feedback and doing changes and stuff like that, I think that's super positive for companies that do that, instead of just sitting there being hard-headed and going, this is my product, love it or hate it, So, I mean, I can't imagine doing rim to rim with a bag full of weight and stuff like that on it. I know when we traveled with it on the airplane, it's the perfect size that we can still fly with it, which is awesome, because some bags that we shoot, I have to pack them in a check bag, and then I get stressed out when we get there that, is my check bag going to be there? Am I going to have the gear, at least for me, to shoot with? Everybody else is like, they want to camp with their stuff, and all of a sudden Now you've got to go to a store and buy a new bag and buy new gear because it gets messed up in the check luggage. But with this, you can take it. So what, I don't know if you can tell me, but what you've maybe some things to look forward to in the next generation, like what you've changed or modified?
Um,
Or is that
yeah,
top
that's
secret? You don't have to say it if you don't want to.
well, it's yeah, no, we'll be announcing it soon. I actually have the prototype right here behind me. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is. We've designed it so that it's even more travel friendly. Okay, so I can release this part. The backpack you have is 24 inches tall. The
Okay.
first one we came out with, 27 inches tall. 27 inches allows you to still take it on an airplane on an international flight and barely fit in an overhead compartment if it is scrunched in it and you're pushing
Yeah.
the lid, over the overhang of the compartment over the top. 24 inches is what Southwest and Frontier allow, and 24 inches is what TSA bins are designed as.
Okay.
So you take it through TSA scanners in the bin perfectly and be fine. Southwest and Frontier will allow you to take it on the plane.
Okay.
Most other airlines will still allow you to take it on the plane, but if you get checked, you're going to have to really push it down to get it to that 22 inches.
Yeah.
Our new design is 22 inches, but we've managed to make it 22 inches, but still increasing the capacity of it.
Huh. That's
So
interesting.
it's 2 inches shorter.
Yeah.
It's 2 inches shorter. It's 5 inches shorter than our original, but yet the capacity is increased. And it's not any deeper.
Yeah.
We have redesigned the top so that the top of it doesn't as much slant. It increases some of that. The size of it's perfect, so you're not going to be back heavy too.
Yeah.
Through technical testing, there's several other quality improvements to it as well, with the padding and how it fits on your shoulders and the torso length size and some of the fit structures in there, the buckles, the additional straps on it so that you can now bear canisters fit better, more attachments for it, more loops so that then you can put water bottles on your shoulder straps and add more accessory options that we'll be providing. All these things are now incorporated into this new 4th generation. So the 3rd was awesome. I was so excited for the 3rd. The 4th is even better. And all of these changes, everything still fits perfectly within our patent.
Yeah.
So these are little small upgrades that don't interfere with the overall structure of it that we have patented and everything that it's been approved for that.
Wow. That's cool. I can't wait to try it out. Wink, wink.
I'll get you one.
Thanks. Okay, so we said a good win, right? And a hard one. I guess the win would be the new bag, right? Or if you have a different kind of a win that you would like to kind of speak about.
The win is the rental program. We just released it. We're kind of piloting it right now. Actually next week we will be sending out a major announcement for independent retail locations. Okay, so that's a huge win. We could have a whole podcast just about this, so I'll put this one aside. Just yesterday we just announced, and you can actually buy it as of yesterday, our sleeping bag liner. We just came out with 2 new liners. The liners fit perfectly inside of our Peralta sleeping bag with internal clips so that the liner doesn't
shift around,
creep up on you. Yeah, that was, I mean, Craig, every day, every week we are having new things. We have over 100 SKUs, 120 different SKUs. We've got to continually come out with new things and perfect each item. So it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, there's some new, really, really new things coming. Absolutely. Every week we're.
I
this
guess
stuff.
my question, because a lot of people that will be watching this will be, business owners and stuff like that that do their own products and whatnot. And because right now I'm working on a product that I've always had an issue with. And I feel like that's what people typically will do with a product. They'll be like, they're trying to find a place to fit something that's never been there. And so every time I try to find this particular product, I can't ever find it. Or people say it's a certain product and it's not there. Or the specs are not really there. And so now I'm trying to get my daughter to use a 3D printer at school to give me some prototype stuff for now, because I don't know how to do any of this stuff. But do you think that like your previous job that you were doing all that stuff in China and whatnot, do you think that helped you kind of, you knew the industry, so it was a lot easier? Or is it an industry that's, because I've heard from some people, when you go to China or you go to these other countries and get stuff sourced and everything, it's a whole new world that you're learning. And it takes a while to learn that new world of sourcing products or how to get it made and stuff like that. Do you think that your previous job of sourcing for those companies and everything else really helped you? I'm sure it did, but how much of a leverage it gave you to start your company?
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so my job, I worked for Honeywell for 4 years, Tyco Electronics or TE Connectivity for 6 years. You see it on my LinkedIn. And then I worked for Carlisle. I was a project manager in supply chain. So I was auditing factories for medical and aerospace manufacturing.
Okay.
Now, medical and aerospace are one of the slowest to release new products because of the regulations required for those industries.
Okay.
But one thing it did teach me was how to interact with an engineer, communicate properly to the factory so that things are in a project management fashion, right?
Yeah.
You have timelines and expectations, but how do you give a drawing or a concept to a factory, have them then understand it correctly enough to make you a prototype that then you can then review to then perfect and have that iteration back and forth as efficiently as possible.
Okay.
Okay. I'm fluent in Mandarin Chinese, so that definitely helps some of that
Sure it does.
communication. And then just knowing the culture. So I also have an MBA from Thunderbird. Thunderbird's been known as the #1 international business school in the world.
Okay.
I lived in China with I did a study abroad in China with Thunderbird, also in Chile, and understanding culture, understanding people, understanding that level of communication. How do you do that as efficiently as possible? So I feel that my background absolutely has helped me to iterate faster.
Yeah.
I'm every night and morning back and forth with factories, texting them. So these bigger companies take so long. So if you want to release something with a top,
Yeah.
these big companies, it takes sometimes years in order to come out with a new product. We can come out with a new product in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And so it's daily communication back and forth, trying to do is perfect the very best we can. So we're releasing a good product.
Yeah.
That's different in the industry, but not having to take forever to do it. And obviously we're a small company, very nimble. So we don't have levels of management that we have to get it approved through and qualifications and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely helped significantly.
Yeah. That's cool. I love my favorite TV show, and I say this to everybody all the time. My favorite TV show is the TV show How It's Made on Discovery. And I just love hearing how things are made and seeing the engineering process behind it and the mindset behind it and everything else. And hearing that, I think you're right. Like small businesses, you have that ability to just go with your idea. Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, you can go with your idea. But with the big companies, it just takes sometimes forever. Even when we sign contracts for photo shoots and stuff like that, We just signed one yesterday that took 6 months or 5 months. And it was just this back and forth. And to the point I was like, can just one person be in charge of this? Because they keep saying one thing is going to happen. And then when they go back to the other person, they're like, no, we actually want to do this, and over to the point I just wanted to give up. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this product anymore. But I gotta pay the bills. So
Yeah, for sure.
So one question is, I'll ask you a couple more. One of them is, what's something that you've changed your mind about since launching your company?
Yeah, I changed my mind on being an ultralight company. We initially launched thinking that we were going to be the ultralight
Yeah.
company. We've changed our mind on that.
Yeah.
We are a lightweight company. We make lightweight products. We even make ultralight products. But collectively, we are not the lightest company.
Yeah.
We target towards beginner backpackers that want quality products in a lightweight system.
Yeah.
But we are the lightest on the market.
Yeah. No, I agree that you're not the lightest, but I definitely think there's that comfort and function that, like I said earlier, that every beginner doesn't know what to do. You go through 20 different things that you end up not liking from all these different companies, whereas you have it all packaged together. I was just watching, because I'm going to Mount Whitney in a couple of weeks, and we're doing a photo shoot there for 5 days on the mountain. And I was watching a video online, and I was watching these guys who did a vlog of their trip, and they were just going for one night. Maybe it was 2 nights. I think it was just one night. And they measured their bags at the beginning of the trailhead. And what was it? One guy's was 36 pounds. The other guy's was 30, right at the same 36. And the other guy's was 50 pounds. And I'm going, man, like, you don't, like, they just don't know where, they've probably gotten whatever they can that's affordable or whatever to do it. But my wife and I are sitting there going, if I had to hike up Mount Whitney with 50 pounds on my back just for a one-night camping trip for what, a 10, 11 mile trip, I would go crazy, But knowing that I can go ahead and go and buy a kit from you that I can recommend to people and go, hey, get this kit. And then it's going to have everything you need. All you got to do is put food and a couple extra clothes in there, and a couple of other things. It's boom. And then you're comfortable and you're good to go. So I think that's really, really good. Again, I tell people all the time about your bag when I know they're starting out, because it's like, hey, I don't have to worry about 30 or 40 texts back and forth. Hey, I'm at REI right now. Should I get this versus this? Should I get this versus this? Should I go online and get this? It's just everything all in one. So,
and there's still a place for that, right? A lot of us get a buzz. We get excited because trying to perfect our pack is fun.
Yeah.
I remember going to REI when I lived in Portland, Oregon. There's 3 REIs all within 15 miles from my house. And I loved going to all the garage sales and just starting to accumulate these lightweight items. And it was so exciting for me to build out this perfect pack. And then I had time. But then if you don't have the time and you don't have the ability to watch video after video of YouTubers or trying to trial and error and, all these things, and you're just like, you know what, I just need the pack. Tell me what to get.
Yeah.
Then that's the spot we're in.
Actually, I have a funny story that just happened to me like 2 days ago. And this will lead into what you were saying. So it won't seem like it's out of far left field all of a sudden, but I was driving our family to church Sunday morning, and when I was driving there, all of a sudden the alarm goes off in our house, and it's a motion sensor. So the motion sensor goes off, and I'm like, that's different. It's, usually if it's a faulty sensor, it's like a window sensor or something. So I'm like, oh, the motion sensor goes off. I talk to the alarm company. I don't see anything on the cameras. And then I reset the alarm, and now another motion sensor goes off. in our basement. And I'm like, wait a second, someone must be in the house moving around the house for this motion sensors to be going off. So long story short, I dropped them off at church because I was just right about to be there when this all happened. So I said, let me drop you off. I'll drive back home. I drive back home. I get here. The police officer is here because I told the alarm company there must be somebody in the house, you know. So, so he pats me down because he knows I have guns in the house, and it was so funny. Him patting me down in my driveway. I'm sure my neighbors were like, "What's going on?" And then we start clearing the house, or he starts clearing the house, and I'm behind him. He's yelling, and it's super intense, and we're going around. And then he gets in this studio space right here. And then as soon as he comes around the corner, he goes from super intense to, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And then, and then we start talking. After we finished, finished clearing the house. We stand in the driveway. We talk for a little bit, and he was in the Marines, and now he's a police officer. But he does like special operations kind of stuff where they do high altitude rescues and everything else, and cold weather rescues and stuff. And so we were talking about gear, and he's like, "Oh, I really don't have the best gear, you know," and telling me stories and everything. And he was telling me how he just kind of loves to go to the store and piece stuff together and everything else. And then we started talking about a couple of companies that we work with and everything else. And then I was telling him about yours because he has a bunch of buddies that he's trying to take out somewhere. And I was like, "Oh, you should check this company out. Check out Near Zero and everything." But that passion of him, you know, hiking and doing stuff, and he does intense stuff. When he told me, I just assumed when a police officer is here in Georgia, I'm assuming he doesn't go camping in like the mountains in 90-mile-an-hour snowstorm, is what that story he was telling me, and everything else. And yeah, just that love for the outdoors and how he just kind of got addicted to it and hooked. But then he's like trying to find that good balance. And I was like, "Oh, you know, we can't," he was like, "I can't afford the stuff that you have in your studio." And I said, "I can't afford it either." You know, I'm shooting for these companies that are sending me these, you know, $1,500 sleep systems and stuff like that. Versus, you know, if I were to go, I would really just be going and buying something that's going to function and get and be semi-lightweight, but functional and comfortable. So I think you hit
Right.
all those points with that. So I think my next question is, what's a place that you've seen, maybe the weirdest, most unexpected place that you've ever seen your product show up? Like maybe you've seen a unique picture or post that someone's sent you and you're like, "Wow, I never even thought my gear would show up there."
Interesting question.
I know you sent me a video of someone making quesadillas on your titanium shovel the other day. Which
Yeah,
that's unique.
it is very unique. Yeah, that's definitely one. But I love seeing that. That's not unexpected because that's what it's designed for. But yeah, good question. I'd have to think more about that. Maybe maybe I can answer a little differently. I always said that once I see one of our products at the you know, on the trail,
Yeah.
I wanted to be hiking on a trail, and I wanted to see our tent or our backpack or our sleep system used out on the trail. That would be like the most wonderful experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people tell me all the time, you know, of hiking PTC or the AT and doing all these different things with it. But last year I was hiking Grand Canyon rim to rim. I do it every year.
Yeah.
Rim to rim, 24 miles. The north, then go to the south, and we do it in honor of my dad since his passing. But
That's cool.
last year I did it with my 3 daughters. I have 3 teenage daughters. And my 3 teenage daughters were all hiking it with me, and we got and a couple of their friends, and we get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon right there at Phantom Ranch,
Yeah.
Bright Angel campground. And my daughter with her boyfriend are over to use the restroom, and they come back and say, Dad, there's a Near Zero tent set up right there at Bright Angel, you know, next to the bathrooms. And I said, "Really? Oh, that's great." And said, "I want to come see it." And so I walked over there, and And sure enough, yes, the near zero tent is right there. And it was just a highlight of my trip. So I went and took a picture with this guy and
Yeah.
asked him about it and the story behind getting it, and got his information and sent him a product afterwards. Because I always said, once I see that product on the trail, I got to make sure that we communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I award that person for something. So he,
Yeah.
he got a free product. Yeah, but that was a highlight for me to see that near zero tent to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
That's so cool. When I was on the Colorado Trail with Outdoor Vitals, we ran into two people with their bags on the trail, and it was just neat to see Tayson, the owner, and the guys who designed the stuff, kind of like you, like light up because you see the thing that you've poured all your sweat and blood into. You see it on the trail, and you're like, this is awesome. People are really taking on to it, and it's like a proud moment. When I shoot weddings, my favorite thing is to, when I go to a client's house, because usually we become friends with them, and we'll go to their house, and then the picture that I took is on their wall, printed like 4 feet wide, some epic picture. And I'm like, oh, it's like, there's my baby, and my baby's hanging on the wall. So that's cool. All right, I got one last question, and then we'll hit rapid fire round with you.
Sure.
So I guess the last question would be, what advice would you give to someone at their trailhead of their own outdoor business dream?
Say that one more time. Sorry, I had someone
No, it's cool.
come to our door here.
It's cool. No, so
So what?
yeah, what advice would you give to someone who's at the beginning of their own outdoor business dream? They're starting their business.
Great question. Really good question. Just follow the passion, right? Connect with good people. Make sure well networked. Don't think that you have to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You may have to do the front work and day to day by yourself, but there's a lot of people out there that are willing to give you advice and suggestions and help you along the way. Don't hold back from receiving that help and feedback.
That's good. I think that's like, be teachable, right? Like, be open to criticism and stuff. Like I tell our kids all the time, like, be open to people telling you and learn from other people's mistakes, right? I think that's that old adage. So,
Yep.
all right. So I'm going to go ahead and just do these rapid fire questions. We do this with everybody. We think it's just real fun just to kind of find out a few of their loves and their passions and stuff like that. So I'll go through them real quick. You don't have to explain them. If you feel like you want to explain something, feel free to do so. But here we go, a rapid fire round, Trailhead edition. So first one is, on the trail, coffee or electrolyte drink?
Electrolyte drink.
Okay. Do you have a favorite flavor?
So yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I usually use the Peak Refuel electrolyte drinks, and I like their melon.
Okay.
The berry one's really good too, but yeah, I usually do those when I do a Grand Canyon specifically. I have my electrolyte drink, and then I have my water bladder full of water.
Yeah. All right. Favorite, I think this one's going to be an easy one to answer. Favorite national park?
Obviously Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so unique. There's nothing more unique than the Grand Canyon with, the elevation changes that you see.
Yeah. All right. Last thing you Googled related to your business?
Last thing I Googled related to my business. Ooh, great question. Packaging requirements. Okay, so improving packaging, coloring, design, and I would almost change that to ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
But, you Google and ChatGPT things now. More ChatGPT than Google.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. It teaches me a lot.
All right. I think I know the answer to this one too, but solo hike or crew mission?
I like being around people.
Yeah.
And when you say crew mission, are you talking about, just a team type of
Yeah, like
describe more when you say
like family, just either by yourself or like I'm the same thing. As much as I love to like just go by myself. I love being around people and sharing the story of the trail with them and the moments instead of coming home with stories. I love them to be experiencing the story with me. So
Yeah, for sure. I love cooking with people. I love being around a campfire with people. I've
yeah,
done the solo ones, but every time I'm out solo, I'm like, oh, I wish my kids were here. I
yes,
wish my wife was to see these stars, tonight.
yeah.
And then, yeah, absolutely.
That's like one going to do Whitney. I know it's going to be hard for my wife to do that trail, but she's like, just go by yourself or get someone else. I'm like, no, I want you to experience this with me. This is going to be awesome. So, all right, worst trail snack you've ever tried?
Worst trail snack I've ever tried. I don't like, I don't know if this is a snack, but I don't like the gels. I don't like the,
Yeah,
the gooey type gel things. It's just too strong for me. Too much honey
yeah.
generally. Um, they're not good for my gut and taste buds. Yeah.
All right, if you were to collab with any brand, who would it be?
Ooh, good question. Oh my goodness. If I was to collab with any brand, who would it be? Um, there's a lot of brands I really admire, and Arc'teryx I really admire. Nemo, I really admire Nemo. I
Yeah,
think they've got a lot of really great innovative products for a wide range of people. Um, but as far as maybe more complimentary, probably like a Peak Refuel.
yeah,
I think Peak meals are fantastic. They're really good
yes,
tasting. I love being able to be out on a trail with them, and tasting their new buffalo, meats, and they have all these new types of meats that they like to do, and I think that would be really fun to
yeah,
collaborate with them.
yeah. They're my favorite. They're my favorite food. Well, there's two foods, but they have like because I'm semi-vegan, right? So, but they have this like um, butternut squash dalbat that's just like incredible. I feel like I'm eating meat, but there's no meat in it. So,
Yeah.
all right, a couple more. What's one outdoor skill you still kind of suck at?
What's one outdoor skill? Great question. Really good question. I would say starting fires. I'm really good friends with founder Mike Mojica of
Okay.
Outdoor Element. Mike is fantastic at starting fires. Has got lots of innovative products to help you do it.
Yeah.
But as a Boy Scout trying to learn how to use the bow style, and I'm just too impatient.
Yeah.
Like I like to throw in a fire starter and just get it going and make sure it's lit up for a few minutes. I'm just not patient enough to do fires without any additional type of assistance.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Can you?
especially when it's soggy rain. Like I said, when in Oregon, we had to figure it out, but
Yeah.
man, it's so much smoke and frustration because you don't get that ember just right, and then it goes out after you're got hopeful, and then it's
Yeah.
gone. And it's like, yeah, if I would have just been more patient and started something a little bit better from the beginning.
I don't think I've ever started a fire on trail. So I'm thinking back to how many times that I'm like, I get so lazy and then a lot of times I go to places that don't allow fires. I was on the coast of Washington State camping on the beach in this Indian reservation that you had to get reservations for. It was this beautiful place. And there was no fires, but then I looked down the beach and I saw so many people lighting fires at night that I was like, I finally lit one because it was easy driftwood and everything else. And I just use a lighter, and a bunch of extra toilet paper. So it's nothing like what you're talking about, but man, yeah, every time I see people watch the TV show Alone and they don't have fire, I'm like, oh, those poor people.
For
All right.
sure.
All right, last question is, and this might be for your family, depending on how big your team is, but one word that your team would use to best describe you.
Probably persistent. Yeah, I don't feel like I give up easily. Um, yeah, probably persistence.
Okay, that's good. Good. Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking those rapid fire questions. I know they're like really what the heck am I answering kind of things. So I have a bunch more, but I always kind of do it up depending on who I have on here, and just getting to know, but one other question: tent, hammock, or just cowboy camping? Which one would you love to do, or do you prefer?
Great, really good question. I love them all for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
There was phases in my life that I preferred each one during those phases of my
Yeah.
life. There was a period I just loved hammock camping.
Yeah.
Super easy, it was fun, but then I get motion sickness. And so if it's not set up just perfect, or if it's in too cold of an environment, you get these cold spots and
Yeah.
stuff. There was a time cowboy camping because simplicity. I would go out to the desert in the winter time, and just sleep under the stars, and it was great.
Yeah.
As a teenager, that was my preference.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, I'm now in mid-40s, tent camping all the way.
Yes.
I like to have that security of my things right there, and I don't have the rodents coming in after them, and it feels a little more secure.
Yeah.
I don't have bugs on me. I don't have to worry about wild things coming after me, and it just in case I need that extra protection, I throw the rain fly on. So
Yeah.
this phase in my life, it's all tent camping.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love tent camping. I think when I was younger, I remember doing like some cowboy camping with a group of guys that would go out, and we'd have to build our own lean-to and then sleep on cedar branches in the middle of the snow in the winter up in Canada. And that made me hate camping when I was younger. And as I got older, I was like, I love it, but that security of the tent. So we're not expecting any near zero hammock in the near future then, I'm assuming.
No, the hammock, there's definitely a place for a hammock. I still love it. I mean, I was a scoutmaster between an assistant scoutmaster and a scoutmaster for 6 years. And just when you're a scoutmaster, you're overseeing a group of, a dozen boys.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time to set up your own camp.
Yeah.
And so I would either cowboy camp, away from them, separate, but I still needed to hear them and know what was going on. I needed to be aware of my environment, so that if anything came into camp, I could protect them, with the assistant scoutmaster. And so either a hammock or cowboy camping was generally the way I preferred to do it.
Okay.
There are those scoutmasters that are like, I'm going to isolate myself over here. I'm going to knock myself out and don't want to hear anything inside of my cocoon. But no, for me, it was either cowboy camping or in that hammock, close enough to them to hear conversations. And if I need to,
Yeah.
assist or something,
Yeah.
it just as a parent myself, I would want to have that, I'd want that type of leader close by to be able to listen and be aware and easily access to get out if needed to help protect.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that when you're in a confined tent.
Yeah. I'm glad you're saying that, because I didn't even think about that when I take the group of guys out. I was going to be nearby, but I never thought, maybe I should, depending on who snores and stuff like that, maybe I'll be a little further away. So
yeah, those are always your worst nights. You don't sleep well.
Yeah.
You don't sleep well. But I'm like, you know what? I can take one bad night for making sure that these kids are safe, and that there's nothing uncomfortable that I wouldn't want one of their parents to hear that's going on.
Yeah.
The between things. No, they're kids. They need to be able to speak. They need to be able to agree and have this level of, enjoyment amongst each other and feel like they're not being micromanaged. Let things go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your tent structure, your shelter, and where you're at can influence absolutely. They're also understanding that, they have leaders nearby to help protect.
Yeah. That's cool. I appreciate you being a good leader. Well, Scott, thank you so much for being on the podcast today and stuff like that. And I know we'll talk more in the future and everything else. But if anybody wants to find you online or on socials, where can they find you?
Yeah, just search Near Zero. So Near Zero on a Google, you'll find us in Shields. You'll find us in more retailers today. There's several online places you can get us now. And then obviously straight directly from us at nearzero.co. So it's nearzero.co, and you can get to the information form. If you're ever in the Phoenix area, please come stop by. We have a new office here. We've got a little small retail place that you can pick up stuff. You can try out our rental bundles and pick them up right here. But we love chatting with you. We are a small company. Most likely you'll hear back from me if you email us or ask a question, or you'll hear from Nate, our marketing guy, or if you're looking at any kind of PR stuff, Natalie will will communicate with you. But love talking gear, love talking about ways that we can help encourage people to getting more in the outdoors. Find us online.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on Beyond the Trailhead, and we look forward to our next guest and seeing you all next time.
Thanks, Greg. Good to talk to you. Have a great day.
Thank you too, Scott.